Welcome to Section 5, Application Templates. In the previous section, we looked at the options you have when you publish your data, as well as how you can authenticate and secure that data when you want to publish it. In this section, we're going to take a look at how you can actually share your web maps as applications as opposed to just a regular map. And we're also going to look at how you can use story maps to create a application that you could use to tell a story with the web maps that you create. So in this first video, we're going to talk about sharing web maps as apps, which is basically how you can publish an application to be able to share your web maps that you've created so far. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the templates you can use to just share your data. So if you want to provide users a way to view the data that you have, we're also going to look at templates that are available so that users can edit your data. And then we're going to dive in and take a quick look at how you can use the Web AppBuilder to build a customizable application that you can add your own widgets to and provide a more configurable application so that you can share with your users. So throughout this video series, we've gone through the steps to upload your own data into the ArcGIS Online platform, how to publish that data as a feature service or as a tile service, how to enrich that data to make it more valuable, how to create web maps with all this different data that you've uploaded and that you've brought in from other various sources within the platform to create these really cool looking web maps that now you want to go out and you want to share with other people. We've looked at how you can go ahead and you could do a simple share where you can provide a link to the map, or maybe you want to embed the map inside of a website. What we haven't really looked at is how to create a web application out of this data. So you can do it a couple different ways. One of them is through the share button within the map viewer. So if I click the share button, I get another option here to create a web app. So I'm going to click that. And now I have all these different options for creating a new web app that I'm going to be able to select through. So we have a basic viewer, we have compare analysis, crowdsourcing, we have all these different options that we can use to create different types of applications. These are called configurable apps. So let's go ahead and let's look through here. Maybe for my application, I simply want to do something like information lookup. Now, you can go ahead, you can start scrolling through some other options here. They ask you, what do you want to do? So in my case, I basically just want to explore my data. I have options to map social media, provide local information, or simply showcase a map. But maybe I want to explore my map a bit more. I've got options here. I have a summary viewer, time aware. Well, that's not really going to fit too much for this particular map I have here. So let's just go ahead and showcase a map. So when I showcase a map, I have a basic viewer. I've got the viewer that's got some map tools inside of it. And I have a minimalist. Let's look at this minimalist here and read the description for this. So this minimalist map lets your map application, sorry, minimalist application lets your map speak for itself. So it's got a very simple interface. Looks like there's the zoom tools and the scale bar, and that's pretty much it. This map isn't really a pretty map. It's providing a little bit more information here. So maybe I don't want to use that one. Maybe I'll just go with a basic viewer. Click the basic viewer. It's just a general purpose app I can use. So let's go ahead and I can do something like preview. So if I preview the application, it's going to go and take me to a temporary application link I can use with my web map. And you can see here that it takes us to the apps URL with the view app, that's our viewer, and it's just passing the web map ID in. And this gives me an idea of what my application will look like when I publish it. So I have a very simple application here. I click on my map and I get the enriched information from my bars here. I've got a layers tool in here. So I've got the layer list tool that's got the legend. I can adjust the opacity within the application itself. So this is everything that's going to be available to any users I might provide this application to. This is what they'll be able to see. So we can close that up. I have the base map gallery. So the base map gallery is very interesting, and I can provide this. So I'm pretty happy with this. I think this will come out well. It even comes with a print tool, so I could print this map using the print services instead of ArcGIS Online. and I also have a share tool. So if I share this application with other users, they can also share this application or share the map with anyone else they may know. So I can start, this map can become more of a tool that's useful to a lot more people. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm happy with the preview. So let's close that. I'm going to go ahead and create my web app. Now again, a web application inside of the ArcGIS Online platform is just another item. So I can provide title, my tags. So I'll say, this is my web app. I'm going to go ahead and give it my pack tag. And I'll leave everything else default. And I'm going to go ahead and say done. So now that I've got my simple application in here, I have a few different options I can provide for it. So I can give this application a title. So I can call this my current bar analysis. Current bar analysis, give it a subtitle, best map ever. You can give it a title logo. We'll just leave it default for now. Alternate map text, we'll leave that. And we'll leave that all as default there. So that's the app. Save that. So it's gone ahead and added my new title in here, along with my subtitle. And then we have other options in here. We can go ahead and we can change around geocoder in here. We have the search tool. We can actually provide search for different layers, but we're going to leave it with the world geocoder. We can actually do the splash screen. And we also have themes, so we could theme it in here. We can leave a default theme, or maybe go with the toolbar. So if I do that, or actually the menu bar, sorry, or it's tool sidebar, and we can leave it the menu bar. Let's go tools. And now that we are in tools, we can start specifying a few other details. So we can add the legend in here as well. We really don't need the legend because we've got a layer list tool. That layer list tool also includes a legend. And then we have more advanced settings here for custom URL parameters that you can provide to the application. So, okay, that all looks great. Let's go ahead, let's launch our application. All right, awesome. So now I have an application that I can go ahead and I can share with my other users. Fantastic. Let's close this. And again, the application is an item inside of ArcGIS Online. And I can go ahead and I can start sharing this application now with my users, my groups, or share it publicly. So let's look at another data set I have here. So this is the source data for the previous application we just built. So this analysis map. I actually have the source data here. Let's open this in a map viewer. So I'm going to create a new map for this one. Great, and then I'm going to go ahead and save my map. Save as and bar edits. Let's give our tag. Save the map. And again, I'm going to go ahead through the share process here and say create a web app. And I want to edit my data. So I have an option here where it asks me what do I want to do. I want to collect edit data. So now in the edit data here, I have one specifically for editing. There's also a couple of really useful ones such as the GeoForm, which is a very simple little application you could use to just collect attribute data. There's also the crowdsourced polling, which is very neat. But we'll go for the edit one for now. And the edit's going to have a few more tools to it. So edits web app. Done. So for kind of options here, I can go ahead and say display the edit toolbar. I can also say add a locate button or location tracking. Won't do either of those. Let's just go ahead and save this. Let's launch our application now. Now if I launch that application, I can open and close the toolbar. Now here I want to edit my layers. However, I have to make sure that these layers are editable. All right, so if I come back to my content, just do it over here. Let's edit out some of this going back and forth between screens, please. Okay, so let's go to the actual layer that I want to edit, and let's enable editing on this layer. Okay, so this is the layer I'm using, so I want to click on Enable Editing. I can keep track of who edited. I won't check that here because this is I'm the only person in my organization that can edit, so I know it's me. And it's other options you can use here. We're going to stick with this, so let's click on Save. So item successfully updated. Let's refresh our application that we have for editing. And now I can edit my data. So if I click on this here, I have the options to change information here. I can add a note. Let's see, this is my edit. And if I close that and I click on this again, my edits are shown right in here. I can go ahead and I can use my template picker to add new bars in here. So I can add the symbol. I want the symbol just be a regular symbol. Give it a name, my bar. Leave address blank for now. My test location. And there we go. And now I'm going to have a very simple little editing application that I can provide to other users I may want to provide editing capabilities to. Okay, so we looked at how you can create a shareable applications using the application templates that are currently provided. There's one other way you could create a web app inside the ArcGIS online platform that is configurable, and that is with the Web App Builder. Now you can get to the Web App Builder via the Share button when you open the map viewer. That's one option. Or you have the option in the item details for a web map to click on the Create Web Map option, and we're going to go ahead and use the Web App Builder. So when I click on that, I have an option to give it a title. So I'm going to call it WAB, which is short for Web App Builder. I've already got a tag for Pacton here and Los Angeles. Save in my default folder, and I'll say OK. I'm now going to be taken to the Web App Builder itself. That's going to let me figure an application I can use to create a more customizable app that I can share with other users. So when we first get Web App Builder, it's going to load up our web map, and we have the option to provide all these different themes, and we can adjust the layouts. So maybe we want to have this box theme, which is going to have tools down over here. We've got what's called a Dart theme, foldable theme, which basically is just going to have everything. And here we can maximize stuff. We have the jewelry box, launchpad, plateau, tab theme. I'm going to go ahead and play around with the launchpad theme. So we got a couple tools in here. If we click on here, we see that this brings up the legend. Close that. And this brings up the layer list, which also provides the legend in here for a couple of points. Close that up here. Now we can go in and we can adjust the colors a bit. So I can adjust the style to be a darker style. I've got colors in here I can start changing. We'll stick with the default in this case. And we got different layouts in here. So got layout 1, layout 2. Not much difference between those in this particular theme. So now that I've got my theme, it can go ahead and I can come down to the map option. I could change the web map, but if I selected this from the web map item page, I'm going to guess this is the web map I want to use. So I also have the option to adjust the extents I want to use. So I can go ahead and use the current map view that I'm looking at now, and it'll, when this is open in the application, it'll override whatever the default extent is of the web map, or I can keep it to the web map's default extent. So I already set this up how I like in the web map, so I'll leave as is. I can also customize the view scale. So right now, I can currently zoom in and zoom out at will. I can adjust that a little bit by clicking some of these view scales here and removing them. See if I don't remove too much. Let's go a little further here. One more. Let's see if that works. Click OK. See how much further I can get out. I can still get out a bit much. So there are the visible scales here. There we go. So we'll leave it at that. So I can customize the visible scales to limit what I can pan or zoom to. So let's get rid of a couple more. And you can just kind of play around with that in terms, and it'll limit how far you can zoom in out and zoom out the map. So we've got that, and now we've got the really neat stuff here. So now I can come to this widget button. Now I have the option to set a few different widgets. So I've got a header widget that gets highlighted here. This is going to be my geocoder, the search tool. I've got a coordinate widget, which is not currently highlighted. I have the options to edit that widget. So I can configure that. Maybe I want to output different coordinate systems. I can edit that here. I have extent navigation, I believe it's called. If I click on this, edit, extent navigate. So configure extent navigate. That's one widget there. We got the search, so we can update some of the settings for the search widget in here. Change the geocoder, maybe allow it to search certain layers. We can do that as well. Scale source for the splash screen zoom bar. Okay, so we're good there. So we've got our attribute table. So if I click this widget here, it's going to open up the attribute table for our data. That's always pretty interesting. Click that again to close it. Now I can click number 1 here and I can add another widget. So let's go to number 3 right above the table widget. So let's click on 3 and I have a whole set of different widgets I can choose from in here. So maybe I want to add a print widget. I want to be able to print inside of my application. So I'll click OK. I can change the title, I can change the icon, a lot of different options in here for print service itself. Click OK. And now I've got a print widget. I can adjust some of the attribution here, so I can change the title, change my logo, provide links. And when I'm all done, I can go ahead and I can preview or I can save it. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and save it by default. All right, now I'll launch it. So now if I launch this application I built with the Web AppBuilder, you're going to see the configurable app that I was able to customize a bit inside the Web AppBuilder with all the different settings that I had. So here we go. We've got our title up here. We've got our search bar. We've got our print tool. And we've got our layer list here. And we've got our legend here. Now the reason it looks slightly different than it did before is that the size. If I were to adjust the size of this window, it's going to go ahead and adjust the size of our application. And we can kind of preview that in here. If we come to previews, we can start previewing it on different size devices. So this is supposed to mimic a 1024-768 device, kind of a tablet device here. You can see this is responsive, so it looks a little different here than it does here. We can see what it may look like on a phone. Still a little too big. My device here. Close that up. Let's go with a smaller phone. So up to the legend there. Open the layer list up there. And we can see what it may look like on different devices when we provide this to our users. So that's a great tool you can use inside the ArcGIS online platform. Use the Web AppBuilder to kind of customize your application a bit more, to add whatever widgets you may want to add to it. All right, so in this video, we looked at some of the templates that are available to be able to share your data, as well as templates that you could use to provide users the ability to edit your data and how you can enable editing on your feature service. And we also looked at how you could use the Web AppBuilder to build a more customizable, configurable application that you can actually add a whole set of various widgets to the application and share that with your users.